Hello and welcome to the Running in Circles podcast, where we discuss ideas and experiences from alternate angles. Being a college student myself, the biggest experience I gained from living away from family was perhaps adulting. In the first episode of this podcast, we discuss about adulting, and joining me in this conversation is two of my close friends, Piyush Panigrahy and Vidyuth Sriram. These people have known me since the second grade of school. Now, in terms of adulting, all of us college students have learned the same similar lessons, but through different ways. I myself studied from Bijpilani, Hyderabad campus, so that was away from my home in Bangalore. And Piyush studied from PS Institute of Medical Science and Research, which is in Kupam, again away from family. And Vidyuth studied from PS Institute of Technology, which is in Bangalore itself. So he had a different exposure to college than what both of us didn't. So hello, friends. Uh, hello.
Hello, Palav. Thanks for having us here, and thanks for
Hello.
making us the part of the first video.
Yeah, of
Yes, I'm
course.
honored actually. Like the
Yeah,
first one.
Mhm.
yeah. So
Yeah,
adulting.
so
So first discussion would be, how was college different from school, and how did you guys feel in the first few days or first semester of college, starting with you, with your.
it's so that's actually a really you know interesting question you ask in terms of when you say you are going to a different college, like or you went to a different city to study rather than what I did, because it
Yeah,
was not much different for me. So as you told, I studied with you for like 8 years approximately in
yeah,
the same school,
correct.
and after that I studied my 11th and 12th again in Bangalore. So it was only 2 years, but met different sets of people who were, luckily for me, not very much different from all of you guys in terms of knowledge and friendship and all those ways, because I guess it's the same thing when you come to Bangalore, right?
Yeah,
So
correct.
there are a lot of like in Bangalore. And after I finished my 12th grade, I joined PS Institute of Technology again, which isn't much different, because uh, like at least 40% of the people who I met in Bangalore, sorry, in PS college, was from Bangalore again. But the one thing that's kind of interesting was this college also attracted some people from outside. So meeting them was a little different for me. So it was kind of the opposite what you might have felt. So
Yeah, and as
that
in
contrast still.
as in you met people who are not Bangalorean, so there's a little bit of cultural change as well, right?
Yeah, but it was really interesting. And since most of them did come from, like we had especially in my batch, we had at least 5 or 6 students who came from Dubai. I guess they were NGOs. I'm not really sure how they were. They basically have Indian ethnicity, but they were from Dubai. They studied in Dubai, and they came to uh, our college
Yes.
through writing a certain exam. I don't know what it is. So we had like 5 or 6. Meeting them was a little NRI. Sorry, yeah. So meeting them was interesting, and we had 2 or 3 who came from J&K. They were like, wow, like meeting them was also little, in the beginning was a little weird to me, but luckily for my from my experience in meeting new people, it did take a lot to actually befriend them, and we got along really well after that. But to answer your question about how the switch from what do
School
you
to
say,
college
school to
was.
college in the first semester, it wasn't that big of a difference for me, at least. Probably because I again studied in the same city, so it
Mm.
was a little more. What do you say? secure, a little more
Used to.
easy with friends.
Yeah, you can say easy. Yeah, easy would be right.
Yeah, and another thing was I knew two or three people who were from who I knew before. Like two of them were from my same school from 11th and 12th, and one of them was from our own college, sorry, from our own school.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
that helps a
first
lot
few
actually.
days, yeah, for the first few days I just hung around with them, and then my friend circle got what do you say
Bigger.
overlapped with their circle. Yeah, so overall it became a huge friend circle, and that's the best part about my college. I think it's probably similar in almost every college. The thing is, you make one friend circle, and it really doesn't matter nowadays, like who you mingle with. They are all good. So
Yeah.
I just had to find one person, and that would act like a chain reaction to find everybody else. So that was my experience. Kind
Hmm.
of opposite, like I said.
Yeah, that was it new. That was some new stuff. And so we'll start. So we'll start with Piyush now. So how did you feel in the college environment in the first few days? Did you
College
have a
was
roommate?
actually, yeah, I had two roommates. We we share like with three people. So I have majorly shifted friend circles from Cambridge to DPS to PES. These are my three major ones. Before second grade, it was like every year I used to change. I used to live in Mysore, so I don't even remember what happened back then. So PS from second to 10th was a great phase. Good friends, long standing friends. And then the first day of DPS was very weird for me because I was actually sick. So I just had to leave half a day. And then I had to be in bed rest for the next 2 weeks. So it was very difficult for me to actually make friends because all the new students had already
They were,
made friends,
yeah, you had like a
and
bit
all
of
the
a
old
lag.
students were like, yeah, I had like a lag. And after 2 weeks I came, and then people were like, oh yeah, he was also there in our class because I just came on the first day and went half day.
Funny you
And
say
then
was.
and then after 2 weeks of coming back, I went on a student exchange trip to Germany,
Oh yeah.
where I was again gone for 2 weeks. So in between, I just actually made two people who I can kind of call friends. And then I
More
went to
than
Germany, and
a few of them, more
yeah,
than friends, probably.
no, that was not in first year.
Okay,
This
never
is too
mind.
early. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I went to Germany, and then I went with all non-science students. So I didn't even recognize anyone from my class. They already knew each other because they were in their own section. So I was like a little outcast in Germany. And in Germany, I changed a lot because I lost my passport first day because I lost my bag and the passport was in the bag. So due to that, I had to keep roaming around the Indian consulate, and my time was spent there instead of
The trip.
hanging out with those other guys. So such things happen, and then I came back, and then I tried to mingle because now what do I have to do? I have to try to find a group, right, instead of trying to
Yeah.
find individual people. So initially, I knew two people, Abhik and Aditya. Aditya is now currently Vidyuth's friend too, so that's very nice.
Oh yes.
Oh, is he in PS?
Yes.
Yes.
That's like a very nice connection we had.
Yeah.
It was
Yep.
A second degree friend.
I
yeah, so it was
I
really
I
weird.
primarily became friends with Aditya because I wanted his notes initially, because I had to cover up what I missed. Same thing with Abhik because Aditya used to sit next to me and Abhik used to sit in front of me. So it's
It
close by.
was, you know what was funny? Like the way I met Aditya was because I mentioned Piyush to someone in my college, and then Aditya is like, "Wait, you know Piyush?" And then we're like, "I know Piyush too." And then
It was very convenient for Vidyut
Popular,
yeah,
to know
popular,
me.
yeah, wow, yes.
popular in DPS. Piyush.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
that's
then those guys had a group. So since I was friends with them, they got me into their group. And it's all nice people, all intelligent. They're all science students. They also have friends from other sections, but these guys used to hang out together. So it was very nice. We had one friend, he's a mutual friend to you too.
Oh yeah,
Himansh from the
yeah,
computer science section.
yeah. He
So
was
in
in
the initial
Fiji.
days, it's like whenever I used to see Himansh, he used to give me this look like, you're not part of the group.
Yeah, yeah. He has
But
that
then
face.
now, yeah, but then nowadays, Himansh is probably the most I talk to from DPS. That's how
And
good
how?
friends we have become.
Yeah, and how was DPS to PS in Kupam that too?
So yeah, DPS, everyone's already from the city, right? So everyone
Yeah,
pretty much has a similar mindset, and you might find some connections, or people might stay close to you, and you definitely have the bus rides, so you get close to people there too. Like
yeah,
I had a bus set of friends and I had a class set of friends. That was
yeah,
also different. But then now comes PES. Almost 80% of the people are from Sri Chaitanya and from in their state, Andhra Pradesh. And I'm coming from Karnataka. It's not that far. Like
yeah,
it's if you go by a local train, it's like 2 hours. If you go by a super fast train, it's like 1 hour.
yeah,
It's not far, but it's more convenient than, let's say, living in Hyderabad.
yeah,
So I went there first day. People actually noticed me a lot because I could speak really well in English, and I was from Bangalore. Those are my noticing factors.
yeah. I think I share that with you because um, when I went to BITS, and one big cultural shock I got over there is people speak in Hindi because BITS is considered as a national college. So most of the people were like from North, and then all the Hyderabad people from Chaitanya again, same as you. So
Hmm.
a big cultural shock was people speak in Hindi. So then when I went in first sem I was speaking in English, and people say that I have a Bangalore accent. Like, has it ever happened to you?
I mean, how would we realize we have the same
Okay,
accent?
I thought you know because you went to Kubam, but in the first semester that I went, people said that you have a Bangalore accent and why are you speaking in English? Everyone's talking in Hindi. So then it took me some time to adjust, and then from second sem it was like both Hindi and English. And yeah, you and I talk to you in Hindi these days.
I mean, little Hindi, you just put it into
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
Please don't
So
talk to
yeah, you were
him.
saying.
Please don't talk to me in Hindi because I don't know anything.
Yeah, so yeah, so
I
you were
mean,
saying about PS.
Yeah, so that happened, and then I was lucky enough that uh, the guy in the room next to me and the guy in the room next to that room were one was from Bangalore and the other guy was from Delhi. So I shared the Bangalorean thing with this guy, so I became really good friends with him. And since he was from Delhi, he's totally from outside here, and most of these people speak in Telugu to each other. So we became friends too. I mean, we're great friends now. But yeah, it was very convenient that they were my next to my room. My roommates were both Telugites, both from Sri Chaitanya. One thing you'll notice in PES is that most of these people come from like towns or villages. So they've not been exposed to the city life.
Okay, that
Or
too.
else, or else, if you see technologically, they also have the same phones as us. They
Yeah,
also have the same laptops. They also use MacBooks.
yeah.
Only difference is they've not lived in a city.
Oh, okay.
That's the only difference. And most of them also come from conservative families. So they usually tend to stay quiet.
Yeah.
Those cultural differences are there.
So, how was
Then
living with roommates? How was it like living with roommates?
the two roommates I initially had, one guy shifted out because he wasn't very comfortable staying inside the hostel. So basically, I just had one roommate for the first year of college. And we loved it because we had a room which was meant for three, for two people. Because we got his extra bed, we got his extra chair, we got his extra table, we got his extra cupboard. So it was really convenient. And the guy who I stayed with wasn't like totally, uh, what do you say, conservative. He was kind of cool. He didn't mind me, I didn't mind him. So we just stayed in our own spaces and didn't interfere much.
Right. So I'll talk about myself. So, uh, I studied in Cambridge with you guys for like 8 years, very comfortable. There was no thing as in like fitting in. Then went to NPS, again, same people. A lot of them were with me in Fiji also, so we used to spend a lot of time. So again, NPS wasn't a problem, but when I went to it's in Hyderabad, in even in the first my first flight to Hyderabad, there was no feelings whatsoever. I thought, it's college. It's gonna be best time of our lives, the days of our lives. We're gonna do everything. We're gonna study, also get good marks. We're gonna do some good sports. Then, as soon as I started living by myself, I was lost. I was very lost in the first sem. I wasn't, I didn't know what exactly to do. Do I study or do I go to play or do I go wash clothes?
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, you can say it was tough finding a schedule for yourself, correct?
Yeah. It's like where I am, my first day, I was just lying in bed, the first night. I was just lying in bed and I was just thinking, like, this is not too bad.
Yeah, it's
Like, I didn't,
weird. It wasn't bad, it was just
yeah,
weird.
I was indifferent to it. I'm like, okay, cool, it's fine. But
Yeah,
then few days pass by and then you get into your routine and then you figure out what and all you can do in college. And if
yeah,
there's not much to do, then it gets really boring.
yeah,
Like in my college, there's not many amenities. So the only sports you can play daily is like badminton or TT, which is usually dominated by the good players.
yeah,
So you have to
correct.
learn to rise above. And how do you learn? You need practice, and you don't get practice. So that's
Yeah,
a
it's
problem.
tough to find a badminton court for yourself when there are 4,000 people who would actually want to
Yeah,
play there.
exactly. Exactly. You just have
Yeah,
three courts and there's like thousands of people who want to play.
I
yeah,
mean, like, it's kind of the contrast over here, though. Like, when, like, like the first day after my college ended, I'm like, okay, this is like my 12th grade all over again. Like, cool. I found like one guy, his name is Satvik, and then I'm like, okay, this guy's pretty cool. I'll hang around with him. So we hung around together like for like till our first year ended, and we are still friends now. But the only unfortunate thing was he didn't change his branch. I changed my branch, so there we kind of parted ways. But besides the point, like, so I stuck with him, and then uh, I got to know his friend circle. We got like in fact, like in my first date, there was Satvik. There was the only girl from mechanical. Her name was Smithy. Funnily enough, even she shifted branches with me, so we still stuck around. uh, but after I went back home, I'm like, this not much different. Like, I
yeah,
met
yeah. See, that's what I found.
him.
I found very fascinating from what we discussed. Like you just said that call for you, it was a very smooth transition from school to college, right? Because everyone's from Bangalore, and you were literally a bus ride away from college, right? And
Yeah,
and me on
but
the other hand,
what I
I
feel is
yeah,
it's not about like not about where you're from, but I think it would be the same feeling of those people who shifted to Bangalore. I think that's kind of the thing here.
that is correct. Like for people who took admission PS, but like are from different parts
Yeah,
of the country.
so it's more like you trying to adapt to what where you have moved is
Correct,
the key,
correct.
because you know in and around what's going to happen, right? So I think that element plays.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes,
Um,
like a very
yeah. So
smooth
I was
transition, like you mentioned.
talking about my college, right? So yeah. So first day of college, I was assigned a roommate, and my roommate didn't stay with me for like even like one full year. He just stayed with me for 3 months. But even in those 3 months, there was so much that I learned because my roommate used to sleep at like 3, 4 sometimes, and I used to sleep sometimes at 11, 11:30. So my God, it was tough to adapt to sleeping with the lights on, but I guess those subtle changes are fine.
Yeah, that is always there. Even my roommates, like they're from Chaitanya, so they have the habit of like studying till 1, 2. And I'm like, okay, I'm done studying by 11. Just gonna chill and then sleep by 11:30, 12.
Yeah, yeah. See, you won't sleep 11:30, 12, right? But then your
Exactly,
roommate,
same.
he's just playing mini militia or PUBG, and then he sleeps at like three,
Yeah,
and
back
then you
then it was
just
mini militia. PUBG came
later.
like half of first year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, there used to be like what mini militia, wing
Tournaments.
tournaments. Yeah, yeah. That was a thing in my college too. Uh, yeah,
One
and
convenient thing was our whole floor was just us, like from
hmm,
my batch itself.
hmm,
So it's like it didn't even matter which room you were assigned to because you can just go and sleep anywhere. Nobody really
yeah.
cares. Like I've had other people sleeping in my room on the other beds. I don't let anyone sleep on my bed, or I don't go and sleep anywhere else. But I've had other people sleeping in my room, and my roommate's gone for the whole night. I'll be wondering like what's going on. The door stays open the whole night.
Yeah, that happened to me also
You
once.
seriously get adjusted to the door staying open. Like it totally stays open. The corridor light is on, but you're still sleeping.
Yeah, I
It's
once
all
woke up with
cool. You still feel safe because everyone on the floor, you know.
yeah, I once woke up with an insect on my face. I was like, what a
Ah,
great start to the
that's
morning.
really common.
Yeah,
Insects. Oh my god.
yeah,
Gotta have a
yeah,
chapel or newspaper for that.
yeah. Yeah. So about my first sem. So about yeah, I'll talk about making new friends. So I Cambridge was like what 60 people max in our grade, correct?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and then NPS again was we just two class 60 people. So you know that all those 60 people know you by your name, right? To some extent. And
Hmm.
then
Yeah.
you go to, and I went to college, 1,000 people. So my first thought is, okay, how am I gonna find my best group of people among these 1,000 people, right? So uh, you start making friends, but then even after 1 month, you realize you barely know 200 people. So that thought, it was weird that I need to know every people, right? And then eventually, when I caught up with um, college, or you can say adulting, I realized that it's fine if you don't know all those 1,000 people. Just whatever 200, 100 people just stick with them. So but yeah, so in these 1,000 people, I thought that uh, out of these 1,000 people, I would say 50 were from Bangalore, and I was very lucky that there were so many second degree friends that I had. Like one was from NPS, two of them were from Fiji, which I knew, and then I had a lot of common friends with Harsha. That's
Hmm.
that I think
I
you
mean,
guys
that's
are.
not surprising. You
Yeah,
shouldn't.
that's not surprising because Harsha is pretty popular.
You should probably
Uh,
tell who Harsha is.
yeah,
I
Harsha
mean,
is
by the time the
Harsha's
podcast is out, they would probably know who Arsha is.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, Harsha is just a friend of ours who studied with us in Cambridge from second grade. So yeah, Piyush, you wanted to say something? Okay, no, wait. I think Dur to say something
Yeah,
about
no,
making
like,
new friends.
so uh, when you said that you had to find like a group of, what do you say, 20, 10 people from 1,000 or so,
Yeah,
it's, wow, I mean, that thought just hit me now. I'm like, wow, I'm lucky I'm not in that position because,
yeah. It hit me like pretty later in second sem. Like even till first sem, I wanted to meet a lot of people. I actually changed like okay, so I'll tell you about how my friends groups went. So my first set of friends were friends from the wing because I thought, okay, you have your wing, they're gonna be with you for the whole of college. So these are gonna be your best set of friends. But then I realized that, hey, you know what? If I if I keep spamming with them, there's I'm gonna miss out on other things. So then I changed my group. I changed my group to people who are from Bangalore. So these people are from Bangalore. So let's I know these people. A lot of cultural thing is common between us, so let's spend our time with them for like the next 3 years. But then again, there was you just meet a few people in your college who you just know that you have to be friends with them because there's so much to learn from like these friends and not the set of friends from Bangalore. So then it was like
Yeah.
third or fourth group that I finally decide, okay, these are the 8 people that are the best in college, and this is whom I want to spend my time with. So it took me one whole semester to realize who my top 8 friends were in the whole of thousand. And yeah, no regretting that decision. Best 8 friends I've ever made.
It's it's weird. So
Yeah, yeah,
for
go on.
what I don't have this concept of top 10, top 8,
That
because
is true. Yeah, even I don't have that.
like the especially when I so here's the thing, when I first joined 11th and 12th in presidency school, there was in my class there was like 18 people who studied computer science with me, and it was like the first day itself I knew all 18 of them. Like, we it took only like 5 days for us to get to know each other. And then
Wow.
after going to college, uh, so the first year, it was like all the batches were like mixed. You don't know who's from which. I mean, you know who's from which branch, but it's like ECs with mechanical, and CS and IS, information science, are together. But so there was like a little bit of intermixing between electronics and mechanical. So I knew both sides because, like I said, I shifted branches. So
Yeah,
I knew
correct.
my friends, a few of them, and I also later got to know most of my ECE friends. The the part where I'm saying about like making the top 10, like it really didn't matter for me. Like whoever I came across, they were all really nice. Everyone had their
I agree that you don't need to have like top 10 friends, but the reason I said my best 8 friends was because I remember in
they
the end of
stuck
our
around with
first.
you probably. That's what
No,
you're
no,
trying to say.
no. What I meant was in the end of first year, we were from double rooms occupancy, we were shifting to single room occupancy. So there, what we had to
Mhm.
do, we had to, make our own wing kind of a thing.
Ah,
So that is why I
yes,
said
yes.
that I found the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
eight
yeah.
people that I had
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. It's like you need the best neighbors also.
Correct.
I
You need
mean,
your best neighbors.
here's the thing. Like, of course, I didn't live your what do you say, the hostel life.
Hostel
But
life.
Yeah, hostel
wouldn't
life.
I feel it wouldn't matter because if, let's say you make friends with another 8 people who
Hmm.
are going to stay with you, I think you would still mingle well along with them, because here's the thing, it's like a, what do you say, a thing where how we all get along together, like we just learn to grow. That's
Correct.
how it for me. Like it really didn't matter.
Yeah. Adapting and growing is one aspect, but then it's really good when you can find people and then shift, because even after second year, I also shifted to a single room, but my neighbors are my seniors
Oh, okay.
because when we were shifting, only five single rooms were available. So
Hmm.
out of everyone in our batch, the first five who went to the warden got those.
And you were
So
one of
me,
those.
my yes, I was the first one because I
I
was the
am
class
speed.
representative, so I got the information first.
You are speed.
I am speed. So me, my closest two friends, we took the first three rooms, and then I started telling everyone else, and then they came according to their order.
Wow.
So it was kind of like a advantage for me.
Yeah.
I hope they don't hear this.
Like when you mentioned that, when you mentioned seniors, that's like the only one thing I kind of regret from this experience. I don't particularly know a set of seniors really well. That's the only issue.
I
I'll
mean,
tell
the
you
seniors
why.
that I know weren't near me because the seniors that we liked had already graduated and left. The two seniors
Ah,
who were
that
my neighbors, I barely speak to them. Probably in a week, maybe one interaction. That's it. Or else the rest of the time, I just see them leave the room, come into the room, they see me leave. That's it. We never
Because
talk.
I've heard in my the day when I shifted to EC, the first thing my teacher told me was like, don't listen to your seniors at all. And I will be honest, they are absolutely right. Like some of them, like barring a few seniors, most of them were like saying that this is you have made a bad decision shifting to this branch. Well, now I
I I don't know. For me, it was like you were supposed to talk to more seniors, right? Because
yeah,
it was
exactly.
a for me it was a different culture. Like the seniors that I made, those are some of them are studying in like University Pennsylvania, and then you know about the BITS network, right? There are so many alumni
Mhm.
across the world who are pretty fabulous in what they do. So that was one of the best decisions that I made joining BITS, because I got exposed to such a massive alumni network, which is a rare thing, and I am very grateful for that.
One thing about making friends in college and DPS versus in CPS. So in CPS, what advantage I had was the longevity of knowing people
Yeah,
because I was there for
yeah.
8 years. And in DPS, I was just there for 2 years. And PS, so far, it's been 2 years and one Corona year.
Hmm.
So even though I really got close to people in DPS, I don't speak to them daily like I speak to my CPS friends. But I know many people since second grade also who I do not speak to daily. So it's not just
Yeah,
the longevity, it's also the interests. That's the main thing. The interests that we share and our ideologies. Like currently, my college friends are also there. We have similar interests, you can say, because we are in the same like course, right? But
yeah,
then our extracurricular interests are not that similar. That's why we don't talk every day. But I do talk to my Cambridge friends every day because we all game, right?
yeah.
We
That
play
is
Valorant, we play GTA. We all of us like it.
yeah. That is
So
the
even though I've lived next to these people for the past, let's say, 2.5 years, every single day, it's like hostel life totally like changes you, right? Like you're a family.
yeah. Correct. Absolutely.
You
You can
might not
just
even
sleep
talk
in.
to each other,
Yeah, you can just sleep in your
but you're a
neighbors,
family.
or borrow their
Exactly.
lap or borrow their monitor without them knowing. So it's fine.
Exactly. Anything.
Yeah,
So it's like that is there in hostel life, and
yeah,
then if it's a exclusively boys hostel, then the
yeah.
crazy.
Did you have rock band posters in your room?
I didn't have because I'm a decent boy.
Okay, okay.
What is
I
that?
No, no,
mean,
I don't like to put up posters in my room.
Ah,
I like
that
to keep my
matters.
room clean.
Hmm.
That's the
I
thing.
had posters. I think you guys
I could
never
have stuff
got
on
it.
my desk or on my laptop or on my phone, but not on the walls. I like to keep everything clean and orderly.
Posters.
So
I
yeah, that's
mean,
there.
Yeah,
I
you and I like to keep it orderly, but they did have posters.
Hmm.
funny thing is, back then I didn't have a room for myself, so I didn't have a choice for a poster. But now about it,
Yeah,
I would consider having a poster, but the problem is nobody would know what band it is.
yeah, same. I don't keep posters in my room here, but it was just the hostel room that you want to keep posters for some reason. Like
Yeah.
all there was, I know this guy. He had posters of James Bond, Taylor Swift, and then Jawaharlal Nehru, Shivaji. He was a
Whoa.
Mumbai guy. He was a
Very
That
Mumbai.
was
contrasting.
contrast. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, he was a Mumbai guy, so he had all these posters. Crazy. His like I know there was no single piece of wall on his room. It was just filled with posters. Not kidding.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
guess since I had the advantage of staying close to Bangalore, so I
mm,
met the people in Bangalore very frequently. Like I used to come back almost every weekend and meet Harsha and Vidyuth because they were the
yeah,
only stable people in Bangalore
yeah,
who were
totally.
not that far away.
Yeah, and I remember I used to come like once in Diwali for Holi, if you remember.
Yeah,
So it
exactly.
was,
Whenever you came, we came to your place.
yeah.
Exactly.
I would usually come around Venu's birthday. Venu in this he's another friend from Cambridge, so his birthday falls around Diwali time. So I used to come around Diwali
Hmm.
time, and then for
You know,
the
it's
when
interesting about the thing about Venu is he is in Bangalore, but he doesn't. He didn't stay with his like in his actual place. He was staying in a hostel for most.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, but you can say that's very similar to Pure again because
Yeah.
like
It
Venu
is
was
more or
like
less like how it's for me, but
going,
then it's a little more convenient for Venu because he can choose to travel at any time of the day back home.
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
I am
For you, it's
reliant
very
on the train.
for
When
me
the
it was
train comes,
yeah for me it was one night trip away Bangalore. Like there's a 12-hour train like from
yeah, yeah.
Hyderabad, which starts at like 9, which starts at like
Hmm.
8. Then I would reach here by 8. So I'm one
Like
night away from.
it might take us 1 hour on the outer ring road from, let's say, Hebbal to Mahadevpura or Hebbal to
Hmm.
Belandur.
Hmm.
It might take 1 hour from there, and it takes 1 hour from Kuppam to Bangalore too. But then
Hmm.
the difference is he has the luxury of buses every 5 minutes or having his own
Yeah.
vehicle.
Right.
For me, I have to wait for the train, and depending on when class is there, I need to plan out how to go,
Yeah,
and I
I
got to pack
used to
stuff and go.
yeah I used to miss a few days of classes to back home, but I think it's fine because no attendance
Yeah, I
policy
mean,
is
when
the
you're
best.
staying far away, you got to do that.
Yeah, but yeah, I was lucky, right? Because no attendance policy.
Hmm. We had a
Yeah,
curfew of 10 in first year, and then boys just lost the curfew. Girls always had a curfew of 9.
yeah,
Rural
yeah.
areas, so I guess they're just being safe.
Mhm. So yeah, so we'll go to the final segment of conversation and talk about how has your relationship with parents changed with college, starting with you, Piyush.
So, till let's say 10th grade first, I was very reckless, hyper,
Hmm.
hothead. And back then, I barely used to, what do you say, talk to my parents, right? It's like you spend half of your day in school.
Yeah, other half with your parents, correct.
Then then the other half is like either some coaching or studying or homework or project or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever's remaining, you are trying to spend it with, let's say, apartment friends, or you're watching TV or you're playing some game.
Yeah, correct.
And then there's this the night time, let's say, after you come back from your evening playing session, where you have like 2 3 hours before dinner, let's say from 7 to 8, sorry, 7 to 9, like 2 hours. So that's when I used to actually talk to my mom, and my dad used to work very late. So he used to actually come back at like 11:30, 12. So I used to sleep by then. So I didn't really talk to my dad much back then. In 11th and 12th, it was a little more uh, like similar to 10th, but it did improve with my parents because I became more mature. I realized more things. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was more grateful to them. But then
Mm-hmm.
the most drastic change obviously happens when you stay away from your parents.
Absolutely, I agree, man.
You are staying 24 by 7
By yourself.
away from your home by
Mm.
yourself, surrounded
Mm.
by strangers for the first few days. And then, I mean, they're not family, right?
Yeah, correct.
Not family like mom and dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, then whenever I used to come back home, I used to have 2 days, like Saturday and Sunday. One day was for family and one day was for friends. It was like that. And then I used to talk to them every day now in college because they want to keep a track of me. I want to keep a track of them,
Absolutely.
like how they're
Yeah.
doing, how am I doing. So it just kept improving. And now I feel more attached to my parents than I did before. And it's like due to obviously we're older now, we've grown, become more mature. So because I understand more things like how parents sacrifice some things,
Yeah,
how
things which we
we
didn't understand
how
before.
which we never noticed, yeah, because
Yeah.
now we are thinking of our future, like how are we gonna handle it, and we need
Yeah.
their wisdom and their support. So the appreciation for parents has increased greatly
Mm-hmm.
nowadays.
Yeah. So, Vidyuth, how was going through college with parents by your side?
Uh, well, the thing is, I don't know if I will speak to everyone who lived like me, but for me it was uh, what do you say? In 10th, I mean, up to 10th, I was pretty obedient with my like obedient when it came to my parents. 11th and 12th also, I was pretty obedient. Like when it came to things like going outside, like coming back home before time, right? I can't say if it was a curfew or not, but still, I did want to like listen to them and like not get them worried. I always had this feeling that uh, if I, you know, what's funny, like I, I know I have to go back home, and I know if I come back home late, I'm going to have like a really bad time because of my parents. So that thought of me getting, what do you say, screwed over by my parents, that thought still exists now because I'm still kind of scared of them. But now, like till 10th, I was like absolutely scared. Like yeah, like I don't want to risk anything. Like I'm a guy of like less violence, irrespective of whatever it like
Violence
outside. Yeah, I
Oh,
I,
what do you
I
want to
just
do?
I just don't like it. Like I'm like, oh god, now this is going to be a drag.
breaks
But
some public property.
no, no, not public property. I like my face how it is. Okay, I don't want it to get beat up by chappal or anything. Yeah, so I always try to like maintain what they try to say. But when it came to relationships, it's still the same. Like I listen to them, they listen to me whenever it comes to taking decisions. Like the only difference I could see is now whenever I say something, they're like, yeah, now you have crossed a certain age, so you're responsible for your own decisions. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
boy.
that is
I'm
another
like,
thing I noticed. It's like till ninth
I'm like,
grade, my dad he used to like hit me or slap me if I made some mistake or something. And then one day just came where he was like, "You are old enough. You should realize it by yourself. I'm not gonna hit you anymore." In tenth
exactly.
grade,
Like, I'm like,
I'm like,
oh boy.
"Whoa."
You know what? Like, were you in this situation where like when the first time you heard it, I'm like, this is actually worse than when they told me not to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Now this
Yeah.
this has gone from physical torture to emotional torture now.
I'm like, I'm like, wait,
I
I don't know what the repercussions of this decision is going to be, but is it going to be worse than you hitting me
yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah. Like
Exactly.
when you
Like
were,
you, no matter what you do, even if your parents don't react to it, you have it in your mind. Oh shit! Did I do it right? Am
yeah,
I
exactly.
doing the right
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. That's why I always go to like once I take a decision, I ask my dad, "This is what I'm doing. What do you think of it?" So that happens to me. Yeah.
My
So
dad usually
Yeah,
says, "Make your own choice. If you make the wrong choice, deal with the consequences."
yeah,
Nowadays,
like,
I
I
always
mean,
take a second opinion from my dad.
my dad has always been very, what do you say? He's always let me do stuff on my own. Like back in fourth grade, when I had to cross the main road all by myself, my mom always used to say, "No, wait for the driver. He will make you cross." But my dad was the one who convinced my mom, like, let him cross, he will learn.
mhm.
Obviously, he can take the help of the driver if he's scared, but let him try to cross at least. Same thing
Hmm.
happened when I was in seventh grade. My mom never used to let me take BMTC. She used to be like, um, take an auto or take a cab or I'll drop you, not bus, because many people are there. But my dad was like, let him go, he'll learn. So
Yeah.
it was very good. And throughout the years, even my mom also became a little more lenient in these type of things. And even though my mom always tries to tell me stuff about religion and stuff, she's always been like, it's your choice. If you want
Hmm.
to follow the religion, the religious superstitions,
Hmm.
you do it. If you don't want to follow, don't do it. Like cutting hair on a specific day, eating non-veg on a specific day. I don't
Yeah.
follow those, but my mom doesn't scold me or care. So
Hmm.
I was kind of lucky over there that they were very lenient with me in those aspects.
Yeah. Yeah. So with it, you were saying.
Exactly. So till 10th, there was like, you know what, like as years passed, the what do you say, the screws on the chain or the grip on their leashes like gradually reduce. They gain confidence in me, and I'm like, oh boy, they're gaining confidence in me. I should probably not cross a certain level, because there can be two things that could go wrong. They would completely let the leash go, or they would hold it tighter. I'm like, no, that's bad either ways. And at this point, I'm like, okay, now that leash is probably going to be let go, because they have probably the most confidence in me.
Mm,
Uh,
yeah.
It's like you want them to still hold the leash,
yeah,
but
like,
then
because
but
I'll
then
tell you
they
what.
go where you are going with the leash
At this point,
and
at this
stop you at
point,
the
like,
wrong points.
yeah,
Yeah.
at this point of my life, rather, uh, I'm doing the final year of my engineering, so I'm uh, obviously looking for a job which is of the most interest to me. I don't want to take up a software job when I'm coming from an electronics background. And from our college, so far, there is not much hope. And my only hope was on Gate, and
Mm,
that's exponential.
yeah.
Like,
That is so opposite to me because I'm from electronics background with already job offers for software.
yeah,
I
yeah.
I, I want that,
So
so it works both ways.
so there's like a very what do you say, a dreadful thought that's looming over me. I'm like, oh boy, do I probably have to skip a year so that I could get a actual core job by taking up masters? That's the weird thing about my field. Like, I've heard people saying that. I've heard my teacher, who's like, he's my HOD. He's done his PhD from IASC. He told me about like, getting a core job probably requires you to get your MTech done or masters somewhere.
Uh,
Because in EC,
yeah.
it's not like a difficult.
Yeah,
And
this
so
this conversation just shifted from adulting to focusing
yeah,
on
exactly.
getting a
I'll tell
job.
you why. I'll tell you. I'll come back to the adulting point. So this he told me when I was in fourth semester. So that's when I decided to take up Gate. And after this Corona situation came over, things gone things went south really fast for me, because I had to like focus on my actual college work, because there was some problems there as well. Now, so I was pretty confident of me getting the masters, and I was like thinking to myself like all the way, okay, fine. Probably my parents have to support me like another 2 years only for like the MTech, and then start repaying. It's all about this. What do you say? They put an investment, and you're supposed to like repay that. I'm like,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
this investment might probably go to another year, and I am not liking that thought at all. So that's why I'm like,
Why?
uh, yeah. So at this point, I'm crossing
Mm.
fingers for probably a good company coming over, and so that I could probably take that and then
Mm.
go for the market. But yeah, so this thought of them showering their confidence is like this gradual change of attitude. I was able to witness that firsthand, unlike most of you all here, right? So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know what they want clearly. It's all up to like what I do, and I'm trying my not my best,
Yeah.
but I'll probably try to try my best.
Mm. So yeah. So I'll wind up this podcast with my experience. So you guys know me in till from second to tenth. I was a very acha bacha all these
I mean,
years.
you still are. There is no
Yeah, exactly. You're still a kid.
loss.
Yeah, yeah, we can probably talk that later. But yeah, so I used to take my decisions till 12th, but then suddenly, college happened for the good. Then very typical things happen, like you become more mature, you realize that parents have spent very lot of money on you so that you can be successful in your life. They've given your life for you. So, and that is absolute benchmark for discipline for me, and I don't think I can ever match that. So the thought of So when I was here in Bangalore till 12th grade, I was always at home, and my sister was there till with me till 8th grade, and then she went to a different college, and then she went for a master. So that's when the real bonding with my parents happened, because most of the time, sister used to do used to handle me a lot. So I was more close to my sister, and then parents, and then I also with grandparents, right? I still live with grandparents, so that is another good thing. I would say good, because you're much more closer to them than your parents. So then, yeah, when college happened, for I spent very less time with them. So that's when you really value your the 10-minute daily Skype calls that you have with your parents and parents, right? So
Yeah,
that actually, you realize the importance of that when you live away from, and then you just become more mature. The talks that you have with your parents are just more mature. They're more about what you want to do in the future. Are you responsible for yourself? And
exactly. It's
yeah,
like
You know
very,
my
what this
parents also
reminds
have
me of?
been
yeah.
what?
Yeah, yeah, it reminds me of that one song from Linkin Park. You don't know what you've got until it's gone. So it's like very close to that. So you only realize the worth once you're like further away from it, right? So
Hmm.
I think the actual feeling would dawn on me a little later. Sorry, Piyush.
Mm. No, I was just saying that even my parents have been staying away. It's like I used to stay away from them during college time, and now they went to Germany, and then in Corona time I had to come back. But then I stay with my uncle and
Hmm.
aunt, so it's like I still stay away from my parents because my
Hmm.
uncle and aunt aren't my parents, so they don't have the same amount of bonding. The family, but you can't relate on most things, and they don't care
Hmm.
as much as parents do. So it's still like whenever I talk to them uh, via WhatsApp or something, it feels nice. I'm just happy that they're safe in a foreign country, and
Yeah.
that too, it's not a country that solely relies on English, right? So
Hmm.
I'm happy.
Yeah. Right. So, anything
I
more to
think this has
discuss?
gone long enough. We can
Yeah.
keep running in circles, but
Yeah, we can
okay.
actually keep running in circles, but yeah. Okay, fine. So, one sentence, if you have in mind, that would sum up your college life.
Of my college life. Huh,
Yeah. For me,
actually pretty
I would
difficult.
say, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. College was that for me.
I mean, I still don't know what to look for in my college because it's not much different for me, right? I've been stressing on that point, right? So I
Hmm.
found a friends, say
Hmm.
in 12th, a bunch of friends, in 10th, found a bunch of friends in college as well. So
Yeah.
it's not.
Well, for me, every day I just try to make it better than the previous.
Mm. Yeah, fine.
Just has to
Fine.
be a upward climb.
Yeah, keep rising.
Yeah.
Fine. That was a good conversation. Didn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
think it'd be this long, but it's just good to hear stories. All right,
Yeah.
I
then.
mean, it was
Glad
a
to be
big
part of
circle
it.
that we ran around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, my first podcast, so it was pretty good for that. Fine.
Glad to
So,
be part of it. You did a great job.
Great job.
yeah,
Yes. Good luck with the
thank you,
upcoming ones
thank you,
as well.
thank you.
Hope it keeps getting better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Fine, then.
All right.
See you, fellow listeners, in the next episode. Goodbye.